And here it is. We are back with Unmatched Pocket. Guys, I am so freaking excited for this. If you have not seen the first video on Unmatched Pocket, we actually did Thor versus Ant-Man, another fan project. But now we are here with test subjects. Yes, this is Pavlov's dog versus Schrodinger's cat. And if you are not familiar with the Unmatched Pocket series, this is a fan project that I am putting together. Open collaboration for anybody who also wants to make one. But basically what this whole thing does is takes the two-player action of Unmatched and scales it down to the size of a deck of cards to fit in your pocket. And yes, this is the full experience. If you look back here, we have full decks of cards, we have health dials, tokens, everything for a 1v1 match here. So yeah, we can quickly take a look at the box here. A few changes from the first edition here. We actually changed the logo from the Unmatched logo to a fan matched logo to make sure that there's no confusion that this is not an official product, but a fan project. We also added the Pocket logo there. And then of course I already said this is the test subjects with the Schrodinger's cat versus Pavlov's dog, two science experiments or two test subjects. And then here we have the ages 12 plus, 2 players, 20 minutes, 33 cards, 4 tokens, and 2 battlefields. Yes, there are 2 maps in this box, if you can believe it. And then just to reiterate, this is a fan set, and then I have my little logo there on the side here. Love how this artwork turned out for Schrodinger's cat. Once again, having the Pocket, fan set, and the test subjects. A new addition from last time. Restoration Games did ask that we not use their logos on the side there, and we are happy to do so and make sure that it is a fan set here. On the other side, we have the Pavlov's dog. On the bottom, another Schrodinger's cat, and on the top, another Pavlov's dog. And I love the blue and purple, or the blue and violet, that are clashing with each other. The two animals duking it out, the classic dog versus cat. And then we can also quickly take a look on the back here. So this is a full recreation of the regular box that you would see like on Houdini versus Genie here, down to the disclaimers on the bottom. I did just change that logo, and of course we have fan match on the top, but it has full descriptions of Pavlov's dog here and Schrodinger's cat. And you will notice Pavlov's dog here is a solo fighter, but so is Schrodinger's cat. He just has multiple states, which is very fun and in line with the whole Schrodinger's cat being dead or alive inside the box. And then we can see one of the maps there, their decks, as well as a few cards. But yeah, let's crack right into this. And I do want to quickly point out on the top here, this is a nice little slide out box here. But one thing I did differently from the first one is if I turn around here, I actually added this little thing on top here, so it's easy to tell like which fighters are in each box. So if you do have them stacked up against each other, let's say there's 5 or 6 of these sets, you can easily see from the side which fighters are going to be in each box. So I'll have to do that with the original set there. But yes, Pavlov's dog versus Schrodinger's cat, we can pull that out. I also added art to the sides of the box, just like you would see on a regular Unmatched set. We can set the cover over there, and then we can quickly take a quick look at the map here. Yes, this first side here is for Pavlov's dog. This is Pavlov's compound, aka his lab. I really like how this one turned out. We have our starting 1 space there, and then our starting 2 space over here, and a couple of high ground spaces like we saw from volume 2 of the Battle of Legends. And then on the other side here, a very cool one, this is the Quantum Expanse. So this is Schrodinger's cat's map, and it's all about that like ethereal space of like the quantum realm, not knowing if it's right or wrong or what it is until you've actually noticed it. We got our starting spaces here on both corners, as well as our 2 high ground spaces on the 2 corners here. But you'll notice we got 5 zones here. The 5th zone here is this blue one that is split up all around the map, as there's kind of like wormholes of jumping through. So obviously you can't move adjacent, but they can attack adjacent if they are ranged. But both of our fighters in this set are melee, but the Throg from the first set will be one of those ranged fighters that you'll see. And one thing I do want to point out as we go along, I didn't do it as good of a job in the first video here, but one thing you'll notice about these maps is they do have less spaces than the 2 player maps, because you want to keep everybody close. You want to keep these matches going so they don't last a long time. You want to be able to play Unmatched Pocket within like 10 to 15 minutes and then go on with your day. But yeah, that is our first map here. And actually, let's keep that open and we'll put that off to the side here. And then if we look back in the box here, we have our decks as well as our health dials. We can pull those out real fast. And once again, I love these side by side of dog versus cat. We got the light blue and the purple with the cat, the fish bone, as well as the dog bone there. And we have Schrodinger's cat, Pavlov's dog with 5 health, 6 health, a little bit of a spoiler there. But we'll put also those off to the side. Then we go back in the box here and we have all of our tokens. Yes, so we don't have any minis in this box if you've not seen the first video, because they would definitely not quite fit in this box, and also definitely break pretty easy if they were shoved in there. But looking here, we first start off with Pavlov's dog here, and these tokens are slightly smaller than the original game, but they are perfect for this mini board because you can actually see through them a little bit, and of course they fit in this spot perfectly, but you can also easily see what spaces they're on through the token, which definitely makes the game a little bit easier to do there. And then we also have Schrodinger's cat here, and he has 3 different states he can be in. This is the unknown. He is both dead and alive. This is the alive cat, and this is the dead cat. So he has 3 different states that he will be constantly bouncing through, but we will see that when we actually get into the deck itself. And we can also quickly take a quick look at the cards. We have the hero card for Schrodinger's cat. We can also see all of his cards here, and both these decks are only going to have 15 cards, so about half the size that a regular deck has, but obviously makes the decks, or the gameplay a lot faster, so you can get these matches done within that 15-minute time frame. Because obviously, if you have an hour or hour and a half to burn, you just play a regular unmatched set. But I love how these turned out. We can quickly also take a look at the back, and this is the companion card. So that all of these Pocket Unmatched fighters can turn into companions. There's also a rules card here for Schrodinger's cat because he has all those different states. And then lastly, we also have Pavlov's dog here, and I love how this turned out. And this one is a fun one. This is actually a retooling of a normal Unmatched deck that I loved so much that I had to include here, so I will also leave a link for the original full character deck in the description there. But yeah, let's quickly set it up and see what that looks like. Alrighty, so I quickly just set up what you would normally see in Unmatched here, a nice little game set up with Pavlov's dog versus Schrodinger's cat here. But you can see, I mean, literally, it's a full game of Unmatched, just fits in this tiny little box that can fit in your pocket, or honestly, you can fit like 5 or 6 of these in your backpack. So as you can tell, I'm very, very excited for this format. It brings Unmatched anywhere you go. There's not a place that you can't play Unmatched anymore. So yeah, so let's look into each deck in detail. We can kind of go over what they do. And here we have the first fighter, Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat here is a melee fighter with 6 health. Another thing that if you've not seen the other Pocket video, you'll notice they're all going to hover around 6, 7, or 8 health just to keep the games nice and fast. There's not too much health to go through here. But yeah, 6 health for Schrodinger's cat. We have a move of 2, and then our special ability here says for 1 action, you may conduct the experiment. While unknown, the cat is both dead and alive. That may not make sense right off the bat, but we'll get into it in just a second here. You'll notice that the cat, although being just a regular fighter here, has 3 tokens here. So the first one here is unknown, being both dead and alive, as the card said there, but we also have an alive token as well as a dead token, and the Schrodinger's cat will be kind of moving through all 3 of these tokens throughout the game, and the cards in the deck will refer to whether your cat's dead, alive, or both, being unknown. So you'll constantly be cycling through these 3 tokens there. But yeah, we can also quickly take a look at this rule card here that says the experiment, which is on our card there, says for 1 action you may do this. And this says replace your token with the unknown token. Then choose to secretly hide the dead or alive token in the game box. If you take combat damage, reveal the token and replace the unknown token with the one that was in the box. To put that in layman's terms, basically, if you are the alive cat, you may conduct the experiment and replace your token with the unknown token. And then you'll choose one of the 2 secretly and put that back in the game box. So let's say in this scenario, I want to be dead, so I will hide that in there and then take the other token and hide that off to the side so the opponent does not know which one I put in the box. Just like Schrodinger's cat, they don't know whether the cat is dead or alive in the box. And while they are unknown, the cat is unknown, meaning that you will get both dead and alive effects until you have taken damage. Then you must open the box, reveal what you were, this case being the dead. Now you'll be the dead cat on the board, and then all your cards will have to do with the cat being currently dead. But that's not all. On the back here, you will see there's also reality. At the start of your opponent's turn, they may guess which token is in the box. If they are correct, they recover 1 health. If they are incorrect, they discard 1 card. Then replace the unknown token with the one that was in the box. Basically what that means, there's 2 options here. Either you may deal 1 damage or any amount of damage to the cat to reveal what's in the box, or on your turn, at any moment, or sorry, at the start of your turn, I should correct myself there, you may then guess whether the cat is dead or alive. And if you do so, there's a bonus of getting that health, but also a disadvantage if you get it wrong, meaning discard a card. So kind of getting in the mind of the opponent there, kind of throwing them off balance. But before we get into the deck here, we can also quickly take a look at the health dial. We already saw this earlier, but we have that nice fishbone on there with the purples and reds. Loved how this turned off with that scratchy pattern on there. Awesome. So let's get right into the deck here. And I do want to point out, I think I mentioned earlier, all of these decks only have 15 cards in them, unlike the official Unmatched decks that have 30 cards. But we can quickly take a look at the card back here. Love how that turned out. Once again, I can pull in the Pavlov's dog card back. I love how these like play off each other. Definitely cat versus dog vibes. But yeah, so our first card here is an attack card for the cat with 2 boost, 4 copies. And this is Feral Strike. During combat, if the cat is dead, this card's value is 3. So once again, the only time that you will not get this effect is if the cat is currently alive, this purple token, because if he's dead, he gets the effect, and if he's unknown, he's considered both dead and alive. So you want to make sure that your cat is dead so you can get these big attacks off. But if he's alive, then you will be not to get this one there. Next here we have a defense of 1 for the cat. Nature takes its place. Immediately, if the cat is alive, this card's value is 2. After combat, if the cat is dead, take 1 damage. So yes, although being dead is good in this case of getting your card to go from a 1 to a 3, and I do want to point out with these pocket decks, the high values are kind of like 3s and 4s instead of like 7s and 8 like regular Unmatched. So a 3 is a nice card to have, but then being dead is a disadvantage here. And I do want to point out, if you're unknown, you will both get this card's value up to 2 and take 1 damage. So sometimes you don't want to be unknown. Definitely a card that you want to be alive for. And there's only 1 copy of that. Next here we have a 0 defense for the cat with 1 boost, 1 copy, and this is Killed by Curiosity. Immediately, your opponent may reveal which token is in the box and recover 2 health. If they do, you cannot take any damage this combat. So what that can do for you here is you are offering up to your opponent to just reveal what's in the box. Your cat will no longer be unknown, meaning that you don't get the bonus of getting both effects. But they also get to recover 2 health to do so, but then you cannot take any combat from, or any damage from this combat. Or, once again, the alternative is they don't get any of those effects and you just take the brunt of whatever attack they gave you, because you will be stuck with a 0 there. And once again, I love this one because it's Killed by Curiosity. Either your opponent can be curious and figure out what's in the box and get that 2 health, or not be curious and just kill you. Very fun card. Next here is a 1 defense for the cat with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Cardboard Security. After combat, you may conduct the experiment for no cost. So once again, the experiment to put a token in the box and become unknown costs an action, but these 2 cards here will let you do that experiment for free. So always nice to have. Then next here, we have a versatile for the cat with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is a State of Flux. Immediately, if the cat is dead, you may boost this card. After combat, if the cat is alive, you may move this fighter up to 2 spaces. So definitely a very strong card if you're currently unknown, because you get to boost the card and also get to move away 2 spaces, kind of run away a little bit. But either side is also good depending on what you're stuck with. So definitely a reason for the opponent to try to get you stuck with one of the 2 options and not be able to do both. And then next here is a 2 versatile for the cat. This is Infinite Possibilities, 2 copies there. And this is immediately, if the cat is unknown, cancel all effects on your opponent's card. So a very fun card. This one, if you're dead or alive, as in, you know, the opponent has given you damage or guessed what you have there, or even taken that Killed by Curiosity card, this will just be a 2 versatile. You don't get the feint action on there as well. So one of the cards that will want you to be unknown in this case. And then next here we have a scheme for the cat with 2 boost, 2 copies, and this is Vial of Poison. If the cat is alive, recover 1 health. If the cat is dead, deal 1 damage to all fighters in your zone. So very cool. So if you're alive, you just get that 1 health. If you're dead, you get to deal damage to yourself and everyone around you. But if you're unknown, it's just everyone around you that takes the damage, because you'll be recovering that one first. And you get 2 of those. And then our last card here is a scheme for the cat, and this is All is Unknown. This is 2 boost, 1 copy. Remove all tokens from the board, then place them back in any spaces. If the cat is unknown, put this card back into your hand. So definitely a very strong card, but if you are not currently unknown, then it's just a one-time use. It can be infinite if you just keep using it while you are unknown. But very cool. You get to basically put all the pieces where you want them to be on the, for your first action, and then you can, You can conduct the experiment, you can attack, you can do whatever setup you need be, but definitely hey, I'm placing my guy where I want my guy to be and placing your guy where I want you to be. Yeah, so very cool card there. But yeah, so that is the cat there. Now we can move on to the dog. All right, next here we have Pavlov's dog. Very excited about this one. This is the one that I chose first. This is actually based on another deck, Pavlov's dog, on Unmatched Maker here. So I'll leave a link in the description to that one. That's a basic, regular, unmatched fighter there. So you'll see some similarities throughout the deck. The biggest thing is all of the art is from that deck. I did make the hero card, the token, and the health dial, but everything else is from that deck. Check it out. He did amazing work there. But yeah, so we have here Pavlov's dog. The dog that's going to be taking down that cat for us. We can also quickly take a look at his health dial here with that 5 health. With that contrasting colors here, we have that light blue with the scratchiness versus that purple with the scratchiness. I love how yin and yang they are in this deck. But yeah, let's take a look here. Pavlov's dog is a melee fighter with 5 health and a move of 3, so a little bit faster than the cat. And his ability here is Scientific Reward. If the first action your opponent takes is the same as your last action, recover 1 health. So basically what that is a very cool thing of kind of like Pavlov or ringing the bell for the dog. You are training the opponent to not do certain things. So if you do not want your opponent to attack you on your first thing, then you attack him as your last action, meaning that if they choose on their first action to also attack, they'll be matching, and then you get to get that free health. Or if you maneuver as your last action and they maneuver at you, you gain that health. So a cool way that you actually counter this with the cat is by doing the experiment, because that is your first action and it will not be the same as Pavlov's dog because he cannot do the experiment there. So very cool. You get to kind of train your opponent to not do specific things because they don't want to keep giving you that 1 health. Very, very cool. Very straightforward there. But we can go into the deck here, the light blues and the yellows here, Pavlov's dog with the bell there. Once again, want to bring in the cats. We got the box versus the bell. Very, very fun, the scientific test subjects here. So we're actually going to start off with these schemes here. So the first scheme for the dog is Ring of the Bell, and we got 3 copies of this. And this is deal 0 damage to a fighter in your zone, plus 1 damage for each copy of Ring the Bell in your discard pile. So once again, training the opponent. So the first ring is going to have no effect. The second ring is going to deal 1 damage, and the third ring is going to deal 2 damage. Once again, training the opponent to start taking damage every time they ring the bell, more and more there. So once again, you got to kind of waste an action to build up the other 2. But you'll see another card in the deck here will actually interact with how many times the bell has ring. But of course, you got to have this card if you're doing Pavlov's dog. And then our first one here, of course, he's a vicious dog here. This is a 4 attack for the dog with 2 boost, 2 copies, higher than anything in the cat deck there. And this says no bark, all bites. So no card card text here. It is just big old chomp from the dog here, more than half the health from the cat. Then here we have a 0 attack for the dog with a 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Classical Conditioning. During combat, add +1 to this card's value for each Ring of the Bell in your discard pile. So potentially 2 more 3 attacks, or dead 0s if you cannot get those Ring of the Bells, but also could be 1s or 2s as well. So very cool. You got to kind of condition yourself to get those bigger attacks. Next here is a 1 boost for the dog with 1 boost, 2 copies. Oh, sorry, 1 defense. I don't know why I said boost. This is Neutral Stimulus. After combat, if no fighters took damage this combat, recover 1 health. So very, very fun. So it's only a 1, so potentially, you're kind of just bouncing off like with their small cards, but you get to recover 1 health if nobody takes damage this combat. And then next here we have a 0 defense for the dog with 1 boost, 1 copies, and this is Animal Instinct. Play this card face up. Before your opponent reveals their card, guess its value. If you are correct, cancel its effects and ignore its value. So if someone attacks you, you play this face up and quickly guess what the printed value of their card is. And if you're right, it has no effects, it has no value, so you won't be taking any damage from anything. Very, very fun, just using your Animal Instinct to guess what the opponent is attacking you with. And then next here we have a 1 versatile for the dog with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Obedient. After combat, your opponents must sit and stay in their space until the end of this turn. So I think that's so fun. Definitely a great one to play on their turn so that they can't run away from you on your turn, so you can easily hit them with an attack and then space yourself out. Very, very cool. Next here we have a 1 versatile for the dog with 1 boost, 3 copies, and this is Afternoon Nap. After combat, draw 1 card. So just nice little one attack there and getting an extra card in your hand. But obviously, with only 15 cards in the deck, it can definitely be kind of scary to be drawing through your deck. But yeah, Pavlov's dog, definitely a little bit more straightforward than the cat is, but I love the interactions they have with each other. Definitely a very, very fun matchup on both of the maps that come in this deck. But yeah, let's have our final thoughts. Now, before we go into our final thoughts, I did want to point out something very cool. Now, with both of these sets here, I didn't want them to just only be able to fight each other or just fight themselves within the box. I wanted these to be usable in a regular Unmatched. But obviously, with 15 cards and only like 6 or 7 health, these guys are going to die so fast to a regular fighter. So you can actually convert these from fighters into companions. So yes, what is a companion? If we pull out our hero cards here from Pavlov's dog and Schrodinger's cats, if you flip them over and turn them sideways, they will be companions. So let me show you how that works. So let's just say in this match here, we chose Buffy here. So we would place our hero in the starting space as well as our sidekick. And then of course we would have our health dials and of course Buffy's deck. But next to our hero card here, if we chose to play with companions during the game, you would take one of the companions. Let's say I chose Schrodinger's cat. I would add Schrodinger's cat's token also on the space, just like a sidekick would be, and you will add this to the bottom of your hero card, basically being your hero, your sidekick, and your companion. Now, companions act basically identical to sidekicks, but they have abilities, okay? So I can quickly pull out here, we have our companion rules. Yes, so companions start the game in an empty space in your hero zone. Companions aren't considered sidekicks for all effects. Companions may attack or defend using any cards, or companions may use a card belonging to another fighter, but you will swap the card's value with its boost value and ignore any effects on that card. So to quickly recap that, yes, so like with Buffy, all the cards that say any as the player who can use it or the fighter who can use it, the Schrodinger's cat can also use any cards. But if you want to use a Buffy card, let's say a Giles or a Xandar card, you will just swap the boost value with the attack value or the printed value and then ignore the effects. But you're just getting like a 1 or 2 or 3 attack just to defend or attack with Schrodinger's cats. But once again, I wanted to point out these companions are mainly used for their ability here. So the Schrodinger's cat, while a companion, is a melee fighter with 5 health. And I also need to point out that here on the health dial, it usually has 6 health, but you'll see that little purple triangle is that starting companion health. So you would also add that to your fighter here. And then it says here, the special ability is when a companion ends in a tie, you are considered to have won. So while you have this on Buffy, you will be considered to have won any combats while Schrodinger is alive if you end in a tie. So definitely a strong ability to use on, let's say, Bullseye, because you'll be winning more often and then getting those cards to say if you won, you get to get that ability more often. And they're not small fighters, so they still will take up a full space. You can't walk through them or land on them there. But yeah, I hope that all makes sense there. We can also quickly swap out here. Let's just say we're going to play with Pavlov's dog instead as our companion, and that's how the setup would be like. And then we can pull out Pavlov's dog here is a melee fighter, but the starting health is 3. So once again, going from that 5 starting health all the way down to 3 with that light blue triangle. And then the ability here for Pavlov's dog is after Pavlov's dog attacks, the opposing fighter cannot leave their space until the start of your next turn. So very, very cool. Kind of freezing them in your tracks can be a thing, let's say, with Medusa. You can have Pavlov's dog run up and attack a fighter so that they are stuck in that spot and then will proc for whenever Medusa's turn starts and they can get that free damage in. So just a fun little way to switch up the gameplay with companions. So to start off our final thoughts here, guys, I just want to say how fun this is. Once again, open collaboration. So if you have any ideas for any of these fighters and want to get them done yourself, all the templates for making these decks will be in the description. We actually have a couple that will be coming out, so we'll see those in the next video here. But I do want to show once again how cool that all of these fit just perfectly in this tiny little card deck size box. So we can fit all of Schrodinger's cat's cards as well as Pavlov's dog's cards in there. Then we can fit both of our health dials as well as all 4 of the fighter tokens. And then lastly, right on top, we fit that folded up board and it fits just flush in this little box. You slide it in there, you know, this is gonna be nice and sturdy so it doesn't get dinged up or banged up. And of course, once again, we have on top here the quick identifiers. But yes, fits right in your pocket, just like a fan matched pocket should work. But yes, that is the video for today, guys. I gotta go, my toast is burning.